Hi there, I'm John from CNCKing.com, and today we'll make custom oak coins. I've done a lot of videos showing how I go about converting live edge or actually lumber from a home renovation into something I could actually convert with the laser into custom coins, as you see here. So this is solid oak. So it's not a laminate, it's not a lamicoid, it's nothing, it's actually real wood. So the process to come to this is pretty straightforward. The first step of that is resawing the wood with the bandsaw you see here. So sometimes the material that I'm working with is maybe 2 or 3 inches thick. Instead of planing all of that down to 1/8 or roughly 3 millimeters, what I do is I use the bandsaw to cut it up into slices that are a little bit more than 1/8. And then what I do is I run them through the planer here to get the exact thickness that I want. I like to give the customer something, if it's roughly 1/8, it's roughly 1/8. It's not 1/8 all the way to 1/4 inch. And that's what the planer allows me to do. It makes a very consistent thickness for the boards. Now the next step after that is actually to do the laser engraving. So this is what the finished board looks like after I've laser engraved and cut them out, all the different coins. You can see there's very little material wastage. Again, I try to optimize as much as I can for the material, because any material that I sort of waste here ends up costing more per coin because I need to use more material to make all the coins. And this production run here was a couple hundred coins, but we've done larger production runs and we've done smaller production runs. Now when it comes to the actual wood species you want to use, we found through experience hardwoods are definitely better than softwoods. So softwood would be like pine. The problem with pine and those kind of woods like basswood is that it's not very durable as a coin. It's great for wall signage, great for stuff that you don't particularly have to hold and can have some stress forces on it. But when it comes to actually a coin that people pass around and stuff like that, it's definitely a hardwood is better. So like we can do it out of walnut, oak, maple, what have you. Now another consideration is because we do the laser engraving, you'll notice that it darkens the wood. That's the whole purpose of doing the laser engraving. Now the problem with doing these out of walnut, for instance, is that you have a dark wood with a dark engraving. So that's why we've migrated more towards oak and maple, where it's a more of a clear and also a brighter color, versus walnut, which is a darker color. what are your design options when it comes to making custom coins out of wood? They're literally endless. You can do them out of anything. And you'll notice here that in this case here, they're coins, so they're round. But let's say you wanted some coins to be bigger, some coins to be smaller, some coins to even be, triangular or hexagons or whatever you could think of. We can do them for you in the same production run. Because the laser, in this case here, is doing all circles, but there's no reason why that circle can't be a bigger one and this one can be a smaller one. Now again, when it comes to your design options, you want to make sure you have something that fits on the coin. Something to keep in mind when it comes to production is in this case here we have an acorn right in the middle of the coin. But if we added, let's say, a border to it on the surface here, you'd add a lot of production time to the coin production. And the reason is now it's got to do the laser engraving on all the edges. While if it's just doing something like this here, it's only going over this area here, which is a lot more cost effective. When it comes to fonts and imagery, the best images that work out are vector. Vectors are a mathematical formula that make up the image, which means that it doesn't matter how much you zoom in, everything's nice and sharp. While a bitmap, if you zoom in, it looks all jagged along the edge. Yeah, that's no good for the processes that we use here, especially on something of this scale. If we're using a bitmap, let's say on something the size of a door, you would not notice the jaggies. But when it comes to small items like this here, you'll definitely notice some image degradation and loss of quality whenever we do laser engraving on that. Now when it comes to the font, it can literally be any font you want. We can also cut through the coin with the font, but you gotta make sure it's a stencil font. So what you've noticed so far is that when we do the coin, we're actually laser engraving the coin and then we're cutting it out. Now this process here is really precise because nothing actually moves until the cutting process. Now in this case here again, we had to do the other side too. Now that's a little bit tricky because we can't see the other side of the coin. Now there's a few ways around that I've worked out through the years. Another thing is we have to have a jig. Now this is a jig I've used for quite a few things. And as long as I got room for it, I'll keep using it for other things. What this allows me to do is have precise positioning of the coins. And you'll see the amount of give here. It's maybe 0.5 millimeter, or maybe 1/32. It's almost nothing. If I have it too tight, the problem is it takes a lot more production time to pull it out. Well, if I have just a little bit of looseness, you would never notice on something the size of a coin. What that allows me to do is have precise positioning of all the coins. So instead of doing one at a time, flipping it over, I could just do all that as one production run uniquely. And it's a lot more cost effective that way too. Instead of doing all the coins on here, and then go one by one, flipping them over and trying to do it again on the other side. I get is, can we make the coins thicker or thinner? Absolutely. There is an issue with the laser, is that the thicker the hardwood is, the longer it takes to cut it out. Now, that's fine, maybe 5, 6, 7 millimeters or up to 1/4 inch, we're sort of okay. But then production times really slow down. In that case there, we just use our CNC router to cut it out, and then we put on a laser to do the laser engraving. Now, if you want to go thinner, something to keep in mind is the thinner the coin is, the less durable it will be. So yeah, we can make this, you know, with the planer. I can make this 1/32 inch thick, but good luck having the coin stay one piece for any extended period of time. You have to keep in mind the application. So if you're making custom coins and you'll never touch it again, it's just going to go on a wall or something like that as a display, yeah, it doesn't really matter. We could make them very thin. But if there's something actually going to pass on to people or give them as a gift or something like that, I'd say the minimum you want to go is 1/8 inch. And probably the maximum is roughly that as well. It just is the perfect size to thickness ratio for actual handing them out and giving them to people. So if you're looking for custom wooden coins, any size, any shape, any material, any design, we can make them here for you at CNCKing.com. Just send off the design that you want. Send us, you know, an idea of how many you want, the material preferences you have, and we'll go from there. We'll make them for you and ship them right to your door.